Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I am your teacher Naveed Anjum Naveed with my grammar lessons, and today I brought verb for you. So let's begin with the definition. Verbs are the words used to denote action or state of the subject in a sentence. We already know that every sentence is about someone or something, and that someone or something is called the subject of that sentence. And we also know that in every sentence, the subject either does something or is something. And our verbs are the words that tell us what the subject does or what it is or in what condition or state it is. So verbs are one of the two very essential parts or components of a sentence. The other one is subject. No sentence is possible without a subject and a verb. Let's have examples. Ali ran after a cat. The subject of this sentence is Ali because this sentence is about Ali. What did he do? He ran. Ali ran. So ran is the verb and it's showing the action of the subject because it's telling us what the subject did. Look at the next example. He is unhappy. This sentence is about he. So he is the subject. Is he doing something in this sentence? No. No action is taking place in this sentence. The verb in this sentence is. And it's simply showing us what the subject is. What is the state of the subject? Look at the next example. She seems angry. She is the subject of the sentence because this sentence is about she. Is she doing something in this sentence? No. No action is taking place in this sentence. So the verb seems in this sentence is simply indicating the state of the subject. It's not showing the action of the subject in this sentence. So we can sum up that verbs are the words which tell us what the subject does in a sentence or what it is or in what condition it is. They show the action or the state of the subject in sentences. And now the classification of verbs. Verbs are classified into two major or basic types, main verbs and auxiliaries. A few examples of main verbs are read, write, see, hear, eat, drink, walk, run, eat, speak, etc. They are mostly action words. Main verbs mostly show the action of the subject in a sentence. Let's take a look at the examples of auxiliaries. Be, is, am, are, was, were, do, does, did, have, has, had, will, shall, can, would, should, could, etc. You can see that they are mostly used as helping verbs in sentences. They've got somewhat secondary or additional or supporting role in sentences. They are used with other verbs, mostly with main verbs, and their function is mostly helping verb in sentences. There is no need to get confused or anxious. It's very easy to identify main verbs and auxiliaries. Simply by looking at them, you'll be able to tell which ones are main verbs and which ones are auxiliaries. And now the further classification of main verbs. Main verbs are further classified from two different angles or on the basis of two different principles. The first type of classification is based on the fact whether the verb requires an object or whether it has an object in the sentence or not. The verbs that have objects in sentences are called transitive verbs, and the verbs that don't have objects in sentences are called intransitive verbs. We know that the object of a verb is the person or thing on which the action indicated by that verb is being performed. And we also know how to identify or how to find out the object of a verb in a sentence or in a clause. It's very simple. We frame a what or whom question using the same verb, and if the question makes sense and if there is an answer to that question in the sentence, the answer is in all probability the object of that verb. Take this example, the first sentence, for example. He killed the monster. He is the subject of this sentence. Killed is the verb. We have to identify it as a transitive or an intransitive verb, and we'll see whether it's got an object in the sentence or not. So let's make a what or whom question. Whom did he kill or what did he kill? The question makes sense, and there is an answer to this question in the sentence, and that's monster. He killed the monster. So the action of killing was performed on the monster. That's how we define objects of verbs, that they are the things or persons on which the actions indicated by those verbs are performed, and the action indicated by verb killed is performed on the monster. So the monster is the object of verb killed. Therefore, killed by definition is a transitive verb. We have defined them, the transitive verbs, that they are the verbs that have objects in sentences, and intransitive verbs are the ones that don't have their objects in sentences. Look at the next example. The students bought new books. Students is the subject, bought is the verb. What did the students buy? Books. So books is the object of verb bought, hence verb bought, buy, bought, it's a transitive verb. Children are playing cricket. That's the next example. Children is the subject, the sentence is about children, and playing is the verb. So if I ask, what are the children playing? The answer will be cricket. Cricket is the thing on which the action of playing is being performed. Cricket is the object of verb playing. So playing is a transitive verb in this sentence. Let's have examples of intransitive verbs also. Let's take a look at them. He is sleeping, full stop. The sentence makes complete sense. There is a tip here. Whenever you are using a transitive verb without mentioning its object, the sentence will not make complete sense. If a main verb has been used in a sentence and there is no object of that verb and the sentence still sounds meaningful, it still conveys a complete sense, message, idea or thought, it means that that verb is intransitive. So he is sleeping makes complete sense. Sleeping is intransitive. It does not have an object. The students played in the fields. Here we are using the same verb. We have mentioned this verb playing as a transitive verb also in the examples of transitive verb also, because it had an object in that example. Children are playing cricket. But in this sentence, the students played in the fields, there is no answer to what question. If I ask, what did the students play? There is no answer. If I ask, where did the students play? The answer is in the fields. This prepositional phrase is indicating the place of the action, but there is no answer to the what question. The verb play has been used as an intransitive verb in this sentence. Look at the next example also. Children are playing, full stop. It makes complete sense, and it proves that playing in this sentence is an intransitive verb. So let's sum up the discussion. Main verbs can be classified into transitive and intransitive verbs on the basis of the fact whether they have an object or not. The verbs that have an object are transitive verbs, and the ones that don't have an object are intransitive verbs. Many of the verbs are either purely transitive verbs or purely intransitive verbs. Yet, a very large number of verbs in English language can be used as a transitive verb in some sentences and as an intransitive verb in other sentences. So, it will vary from situation to situation, from sentence to sentence. Don't consider any main verb a purely transitive verb or intransitive verb. Don't consider them transitive and intransitive by default. Look at the usage, analyze the sentence carefully, try looking for the object of that verb, and if there is an object, it's transitive, and if there is no object, it's intransitive. The next type of classification of main verbs depends upon the conjugation of those verbs. In simple words, it depends on the fact how the second and the third forms, the past and the past participle forms of those verbs are made. Whenever we require addition of D or ED to make past and past participle form of a verb, that verb is called regular or weak verb. And whenever any other method other than addition of D or ED is used to make past and past participle forms of a verb, it's an irregular or strong verb. Take a look at the past and past participle forms of the same examples. Now they are given in separate tables. On the left hand side are regular verbs and on the right hand side are irregular verbs. Regular verbs, you can see they are taking addition of D or ED to make past and past participle forms, and irregular verbs are following other methods other than addition of D or ED. That's all about main verbs. There's no activity today. We'll have an activity on verbs at the end of part 2 of my lesson on verbs. Till then, goodbye.